What is going on, you guys? So today we're going to go over 5 ways to help you lose body fat as fast as possible. Now before we get into these 5 ways, I want to make a point in saying you do not need to monitor weight in order to lose body fat. That is a common misconception. You do not need to lose weight in order to lose body fat. Now think about it this way. Say you put on 3 pounds of muscle mass and you lose 3 pounds of body fat. That is absolutely 0 weight change. So guys, stop looking at the scale. A better way to analyze fat is literally just by looking into the mirror, seeing your actual body change, or if you have a body fat analyzer, calipers, whatever way to actually analyze fat loss, you do not need a scale to do so. So let's get right into these 5 ways and let's optimize your fat loss to give you the best summer body of your life. The first point we're going to go over is high intensity interval training. Now HIIT Cardio is one of the #1 ways to burn fat as fast as possible. So it's a form of interval training where you use short periods of anaerobic exercise, cardio style, and then less intense periods of recovery. So basically you're spiking your heart rate, letting it come back down and spiking again. You're making your body work a lot harder than steady state. Now steady state, when you're in the fat burning zone, yes, you are burning fat, but as soon as you stop that cardio, you're actually stopping the fat loss process. Whereas for HIIT Cardio, you're expending calories at a much faster rate during the actual cardio, and afterward you actually create an afterburn effect, so you increase your metabolism throughout the day and you're still burning more up to maybe 20 hours after your HIIT routine. So HIIT, guys, like I said, is a form of interval training. You burn calories at a much faster rate, you use a lot more energy, and you create an afterburn effect. So say you do it in the morning, you've now spiked your metabolism for the entire day. You do it at night, you're actually burning more calories in your sleep this way. The afterburn effect is significant, and it's one of the fastest ways you can literally shred off body fat. And HIIT training, guys, there's a ton of different styles to do it. It's either sprint training, that's an example, or my personal favorite, Tabata, where you do 20 seconds on, 10-second rest, 20 seconds high intensity, 10-second rest for a full 4 minutes for a full 1 set. Now guys, there are a ton of different ways you can do HIIT training. You can even do HIIT training with weights, but for optimal fat loss, you 100% need to be doing HIIT Cardio. I'm telling you guys, it will shred fat off like no other. So one more time, just to go over it, HIIT Cardio, it expends calories at a much faster rate, it makes your body work a lot harder, and it creates this afterburn effect. So even when you stop the cardio, you've increased your metabolism and you're still gonna be burning fat later in the day, even at rest. So make sure you put in HIIT Cardio into your training. The second point we're going to get into is how you should be focusing on compound movements. Now compound movements are exercises that are involving multiple joints and muscle groups to complete a full range of motion. So your body's actually using more energy to complete these types of exercises. Now examples of this are your squats, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, dips, barbell row. Those are all examples of compound movements. Now weight training itself, guys, it burns calories. So if you're doing aerobic exercise, body weight exercise, you're not burning nearly as much as if you were doing some form of resistance training. So if you're not doing resistance training and you want to lose fat, you 100% got to start hitting the weights, guys, because you will lose fat at a much faster rate. So it's actually shown that when you do weight training, resistance training, you actually are still burning calories up to 38 hours after your exercise is complete. So guys, weight training is very important in the fat loss process. Now compound movements, like I said, it involves using multiple joints and muscle groups to complete the exercise. Now doing this, you are using more energy, thus you are burning more fat in the process. The whole process of fat loss, guys, is trying to have your body use as much fuel as possible. So you want yourself to be as fuel insufficient as possible. So doing more compound exercises and involving more joints, more muscle groups, you're having your body work harder and use more energy. So you're going to be expending calories at a faster rate, and you're going to have a stronger, more impactful afterburn effect. So still spiking that metabolism for a long period of time afterward. And guys, when you put on more muscle mass, you're actually going to naturally at rest be burning more calories in general, because the more muscle mass you have, you're burning fat at a faster rate from your basal metabolic rate. So the more muscle mass you have, the faster you burn fat naturally anyway. So guys, the more compound exercises you add to your routine, the more fuel insufficient you're gonna make your body, because you're gonna be using a lot more energy. So be sure to be adding more compound movements. And the third point we're gonna get into is how you should be training for strength to optimally burn fat fastest. Now this is a misconception. A lot of people think you need to be doing this crazy high rep endurance work in order to burn fat, and that's actually not true. Strength training is gonna elevate your metabolism the most for the longest period of time after your workout, so you're burning calories after you've already exercised. And we're going to relate this to the term excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, and that's just a fancy term for saying how long your metabolism is elevated after your workout. And strength training can literally elevate your metabolism for up to 40 hours after your workout, so you're naturally burning calories at a faster rate because you've used so much energy by following a strength training program. So strength training, guys, it uses a lot more fuel, and as we said in the last point, you want your body to be as fuel insufficient as possible in order to burn fat as fast as possible. So we're gonna actually relate this to cardio. When you do cardio and you get in great cardiovascular shape, it becomes easier. You get better at cardio and your body's actually not using as much energy. So some people actually say strength training, you can burn more calories and you can actually burn more fat by doing a strength training program than actually doing cardio. Now HIIT training is why I said you should be doing HIIT training. You burn fat at a much faster rate, so it's much harder to become adapted to HIIT training, and there's also a ton of different forms of it, so you can change things up. But going back to the strength training aspect, you keep getting stronger, and you do change it up to avoid a plateau, but when you train to get stronger, your body is still always going to be using as much fuel as possible to lift that heavier weight. So you stay in a more fuel insufficient category when you do strength training, so you're always going to be burning more fat at a faster rate, and you're going to be burning more fat longer throughout the day, so your metabolism is going to be spiked and you're going to be burning calories even at rest. So guys, you do want to be following a strength training program. You can gain a lot of muscle doing a strength training program, and when you have more muscle, you're naturally burning more calories and more fat just by having more muscle mass to begin with. So guys, if you want to burn fat as fast as possible, a huge great combination is the strength training program with high intensity interval training cardio. That is you'll be a fat burning machine following those principles. And now we're going to get into more of the diet aspect, because dieting is one of the major factors, is the most major factor in the fat loss process. So, but make sure you're doing your training to get stronger, because you're going to be burning a lot more fuel that way. So you're going to be burning more fat as fast as possible. Now the fourth point is going to be about caloric variation. You do not want to eat the same amount of calories every day, or you're actually going to be lowering your metabolic rate, making it a lot harder to burn off body fat. It is all about hormones, guys. You want to have some higher calorie days and lower calorie days. This is going to confuse the body, and it's going to keep the leptin hormone level high, which is going to keep the metabolic rate high and have you burn fat at a much faster rate. Now I am a huge advocate for recommending you starting your calories at a maintenance value and having your calorie expenditure through your exercise put you into a natural deficit. This, I believe, is one of the greatest ways to be able to build muscle while you're also burning fat. One of the misconceptions is you do not need to be eating in a calorie deficit in order to lose fat. Yes, you do to lose weight, but like we said in the beginning, we're not correlating your weight loss with your fat loss. Stay off the scale. This video is about fat loss, and we're talking now about basically the leptin hormone and how you want that elevated in order to have your metabolic rate as high as possible as well. So you need caloric variation, and a great base for that is, say if you're in a calorie deficit, say every 5th day you have a higher carb day, a higher calorie day. You just change things up and confuse the body. Every 3rd day, every week. You need this variation in order to keep your metabolic rate high, keep your body confused, and burn fat at a much faster rate. And the 5th point is going to be about what you are eating. When it comes to fat loss, what you eat is much more important. Weight loss is referring to how much you are eating, but when it comes to fat loss, what you eat is significant. Now we're going to start with fats. You want to up your fat intake. Eating more healthy fats is actually going to help you burn fat, build muscle, and recover faster from your workouts. So overall, up your fat intake, make sure they are healthy fats, so your poly and mono unsaturated fats. Now we're gonna get into carbs. I am not an advocate for low carb diet. I am not even gonna get into that, but yes, you do wanna lower the amount of carbs you're consuming throughout the day, and you wanna focus your carb consumption in the morning and around your workout. So general rule of thumb is really try to consume as little carbs as possible past 3 p.m. Now if you're working out at night, like I said, you wanna centralize your carb consumption around your workouts to fuel it and then also recover, get your sugars back, and so forth. But you want to eat your majority of your carbs in the morning to basically fuel your day and have your energy stores, but you want to have as much carb consumption later in the day as possible. So you want to lower the amount of carbs you consume throughout the day, but I do not want you to go crazy with a low carb diet. Now protein is one of the most important factors in burning body fat. You want to significantly up your protein intake. Your body naturally burns fat quicker because it uses more energy to digest protein. So you're only able to digest around 40 grams of protein per hour. So this is fine, and this is when it comes to the concept of eating six smaller meals per day. So you're keeping your metabolic rate spiked by doing this because you're able to keep getting more nutrients in and having your digestive processes working, and also you're going to be avoiding starvation mode by doing that. So your metabolic rate is going to be constantly spiked by doing this. By upping your protein intake, your natural digestive processes are going to have your body using more energy and burning more fat naturally as well. So guys, overall, up your fat intake, up your protein intake, and slightly lower your carb intake. So by combining this diet principle with HIIT cardio with a strength training regimen, you're gonna be a fat burning machine. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you like it, actually like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'll always answer you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.